The Happy Time, musical, from Wikipedia, the free online encyclopedia at wikipedia.org. The Happy Time is a musical with music by John Kander, lyrics by Fred Ebb, and a book by N. Richard Nash, loosely based on a 1950 hit Broadway play, The Happy Time, by Samuel A. Taylor, which was in turn based on stories by Robert Fontaine. The story had also been made into a 1952 film version. The original 1967 Los Angeles and 1968 Broadway productions were directed and choreographed by Gower Champion, who won Tony Awards in each category. Background and productions. Producer David Merrick had initially asked Cy Coleman and Dorothy Fields to write the songs and Yves Montand to play the lead, but they were all busy with other projects and declined to participate. Merrick then asked N. Richard Nash to write the script, but Nash suggested an original story of his own. Merrick, holding the rights to The Happy Time, asked that the setting be changed to Canada, and the deal was set. The final script had little of the Taylor play, but did use the characters and some minor details from Fontaine's stories. Nash showed the outline of the story to Kander and Ebb, who agreed to write the music. Merrick had approached Gower Champion to direct the new musical. Champion agreed, with the provision that it open in Los Angeles at the Ahmanson Theater. Rehearsals began in September 1967 in Los Angeles, and the show opened on November 19th at the Ahmanson. Although the reviews were poor, the show was sold out. The show ran to December 23, 1967. The Happy Time opened on Broadway at the Broadway Theater on January 18, 1968. It received mixed reviews from the critics, who generally admired the performances but noted large deficiencies in the script. It closed on September 28, 1968, after a run of 286 sparsely attended performances and 23 previews. It was the first Broadway musical to lose $1 million. The production was directed, filmed, and choreographed by Gower Champion, set design by Peter Wexler, costume design by Freddie Widdup, lighting design by Gene Rosenthal, film sequences created by Christopher Chapman, film technical direction by Barry O. Gordon, orchestrations by Don Walker, musical direction and vocal arrangements by Oscar Kozarin, associate choreography by Kevin Carlisle, and dance and incidental music arrangements by Marvin Laird. John Serry Sr. collaborated as the orchestral accordionist in the Broadway production. The production starred Robert Goulet, Jacques Bonnard, David Wayne, Grandpère Bonnard, Michael Rupert, Bebe Bonnard, Julie Gregg, Laurie Manon, and George S. Irving, Philippe Bonnard, Charles Durning, Louis Bonnard, Gina Page, Annabelle Bonnard, Julaine Steitz, Gilly Bonnard, Connie Simmons, Nanette Bonnard, June Squibb, Felice Bonnard, Jackie Garland, Lisette, Mary Gail Laverenz, Doreen, Tammy Philhart, Sylvie, Gil Gimbel, Henri, Marianne O'Reilly, Monique, Vicky Powers, Bella, Susan Segrist, Grace, Julie Gregg, Laurie Manon, Jeffrey Golkin, Fufi, and Dallas Johann, Ganache. The play was profiled in the William Goldman book, The Season, A Candid Look at Broadway. Goldman noted that, quote, the projections simply overpowered the small size and feel of the show, end quote. The Goodspeed Opera House, East Haddam, Connecticut, presented the show in April 1980 to May 1980. The production was revised by rewriting the book so that it no longer changes its tune in the second act, eliminating photographic projections and adding 4 songs that had been dropped. In May 2002, the Niagara University Theater in Niagara Falls, New York, staged a revival of The Happy Time. John Kander and Fred Ebb went to Niagara University to work with the cast, helping recreate the work. Most notably, they incorporated 5 songs originally cut from the musical into the production, as well as making a few other minor changes. According to the Buffalo News, quote, this NU theater production, with Kander and Ebb's blessing, has reinstated several songs and restored text, prompting them to label this version definitive, end quote. The revised version was performed in New York City for the first time in 2007 in a staged reading by Musicals Tonight as part of their season-long tribute to George S. Irving, who returned to the show, this time playing Jacques' father, Grandpère. The Signature Theater in Arlington, Virginia staged a revised production of The Happy Time from April 1, 2008 through June 1, 2008. The production was directed by Michael Unger and choreographed by Karma Camp. It received favorable reviews. For example, the Washington Post reviewer wrote, quote, a little charmer, effervescent. The cast is strong, which is part of why it generally feels like a luxury to be able to see the show in this space, end quote. Variety agreed, quote, fresh and earnest, staged with ultimate intimacy in Signature's tiny Arc Theater, end quote. Plot. Jacques Bonnard is a prize-winning photographer who travels the world. He returns to his 1920s French-Canadian village after 5 years away, seeking the happy time of his childhood. His cantankerous but lovable father, Grandpère, 2 brothers and their wives, and their children all welcome him back. He's back. His stories of his travels have a profound effect on his nephew, Bibi, who is having trouble at school and going through an especially rough puberty, inspiring the boy to want to live life to the fullest. Jacques goes to a nightclub and takes Grandpère and Bibi, where they are entertained by the dancers, 6 angels. Catch my garter. After their night on the town, Bibi begs Jacques to please stay. When Bibi takes Grandpère's naughty pictures to school and is discovered, his stern father Philippe forces him to apologize to his schoolmates. Bibi is embarrassed and upset and tries to cajole Jacques into taking him away when he leaves. Although Jacques at first agrees, thinking that Bibi will be a companion, he quickly realizes that this would not be good for Bibi. Meanwhile, Jacques finds it difficult to commit to his former sweetheart, Laurie. I don't remember you. The couple finally realize that they have opposite ideas about life and the future, seeing things, with Laurie understanding that Jacques is emotionally a boy like her students. Grandpère, Jacques, and Bibi playfully sing an ode to a certain girl. Jacques finally realizes that he returned home searching for family and love, running, and understands that he must set out alone again. Songs. Act 1. The Happy Time, Jacques Bonnard and Family. Jean-Marie, Jacques and Family. He's Back, Family. Catch My Garter, 6 Angels. Tomorrow Morning, Jacques, Grandpère, Bibi, and 6 Angels. Please Stay, Bibi and Jacques. I Don't Remember You, Jacques. Saint Pierre, Glee Club, Laurie Manon and Jacques. I Don't Remember You Reprise, Laurie and Jacques. Without Me, Bibi and Schoolmates. In His Own Good Time, Suzanne and Philippe. And The Happy Time Reprise, Jacques. Act 2, Among My Yesterdays, Jacques. Please Stay Reprise, Laurie. The Life of the Party, Grandpère, 6 Angels, and Schoolboys. I'm Sorry, Bibi. Seeing Things, Jacques and Laurie. A Certain Girl, Grandpère, Jacques, and Bibi. Running, Jacques. Saint Pierre, Bibi, Laurie, and Glee Club. The Happy Time Reprise, Jacques and Company. Awards and nominations. Original Broadway production. 1968, Tony Award, Best Musical, nominated. Best Original Score, John Kander and Fred Ebb, nominated. Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Musical, Robert Goulet, won. Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Musical, David Wayne, nominated. Best Performance by a Featured Actor in a Musical, Michael Rupert, nominated. Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical, Julie Gregg, nominated. Best Direction of a Musical, Gower Champion, won. Best Choreography, Gower Champion, won. Best Scenic Design, Peter Wexler, nominated. Best Costume Design, Freddie Widdup, nominated. 1968 Theatre World Award, Julie Gregg, won. Theatre World Award, Michael Rupert, won. Recordings. The original Broadway cast recording was released by RCA Victor Broadway in January 1968, and the CD was released on March 10, 1992. This article was recorded on August 9, 2019.